Walter. Okay. Hi, everyone. How are you doing? It's Anathea, your evolutionary astrologer and divine feminine educator. And I have someone very, very special here with me to interview today. This is my little sister, my younger sister, Joanne Starkman. And she has had such a powerful life journey. She actually interviewed me on her podcast, the podcast of which we will be talking about. And the other thing is, I realized, Joanne, that I don't have a real bio that I'm going to read for you. But
That's okay.
I'm just going to give you like this hot centered bio right this minute. So Joanne Starkman is co-owner with Greg Starkman of Innersense Beauty. You can find the website at innersensebeauty.com. They are amazing. It's an amazing company. She is such a hard worker. She's a queen of spades in the love card system, 8 5 diamonds, queen of spades in the love card system. And so Joanne has been working. Her initial career was as a beautician, right? Is that the proper word for it, Joanne?
Yeah, hairstylist, hairdresser,
Right,
beautician,
hairstylist.
cosmetologist,
There
many,
you
many
go.
names.
There you
Yeah.
go. And her and her husband started a company of organic hair care before it even was popular, before people even thought about it. They were way ahead of their time. And it has just gone gangbusters. So I'm really proud to be your sister, Joanne, and just
Thank
see the
you.
journey that you guys have taken together, including your little baby one, Morgan, who's no longer a little baby one, and also Max. We got to always include Max because I'm a real uh, serious auntie when it comes to my nieces and nephews. But what we're going to be doing today with Joanna is we're going to interview her, find out more about her company, her podcast and it's about inspiration, finding your inner sense. The actual title of it is Trust Your Innersense. But also, I want to do a three-eye atlas reading on her. So we're going to have a lot of fun in this podcast or in this interview. And so let's get ready and let's just start. Joanne, thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me. This is so much fun.
You're one of the fun sisters. Not that the other sisters aren't fun, but you're like
We're all fun.
I know we are. We're a fun family. But you were the little one that came much later. And I guess I want to start with sharing that story. See,
Awesome.
we're one of five kids. And she came later. Joanne came later. She came 8 to 9 years later than me, and I think 7 years later from the youngest. So where there were four children, and we were always wanted another baby. All the kids wanted another baby, wanted another baby. And one evening, we're all sitting around the dinner, and Joanne, of course, hears this story, but she was there in spirit, I'm sure, right, Joanne?
Right.
But so she's heard this story so many times. But we're all sitting there as little kids around the dinner table. And my dad says to everybody, we have something special to share, or your mom has something special to share. And so all of us little kids' eyes go to mom, and she starts crying, stands up, and runs into the bedroom. And then our dad is left with saying, yeah, your mom's pregnant. We're going to have another sibling. And so we all jump up, and we run down the hall over to, hug our mother and we were all excited. And yeah, it was just a powerful journey. And as a matter of fact, I was the first sibling to find out. I don't know if you knew this, John, we had some kind of bet system going on what day you were actually going to be born. And I
I
think
think
I
so.
won that bet, I think.
Oh, wow.
I don't
Wow.
even know what the prize was, but I was the first one to know that she was born. A longer story around that, but my dad came home and I was awake and he said, "Yeah, we have a little baby girl."
Aw,
I know. And her name was, oh, this is something that people wouldn't know about you. Remember, what was your name?
Pinky.
Pinky. Her name was Pinky.
I think I'm still very pink. So funny that I wore pink today too. Isn't that
Oh,
interesting?
well, it's a very light
I
pink.
didn't, yeah, I didn't know you were going to say that, but that's funny. Yeah,
Isn't
that
that
is.
cute? I know, such cute stories. Anyway, I want everyone to know about Innersense. You can go to innersensebeauty.com. It's amazing organic hair care. But I really want you to share your story, Joanne, which you've done so many times. I'm just going to give you the mic and let you share your story about Innersense and how it got started and the whole.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks so much for having me again. This is so much fun to be sitting here chatting with you. And I had so much fun on when I interviewed you on my podcast. So
Yeah.
definitely I would encourage people to go listen to that because that was a lot of fun. But as Anathea said, I've been a hairstylist for long, long time since 1989, believe it or not. Stood behind the chair for a long time and then decided to go into education. Both my parents were educators, so I think I just had a natural draw into educating. So I major manufacturers would hire me to go and teach hair cutting or perm techniques. And if you're not in the beauty world, it's called a platform artist. So I was a platform artist at different various times throughout my career. And that's where I met and fell in love with my husband, Greg. So I talk about Innersense as a love story. And we met and very quickly fell in love and started a family. We both have a huge passion for the beauty industry. And our daughter Morgan was born. And when she was 22 months old, she was diagnosed with a very rare genetic disability called Williams syndrome. And as you can well imagine, being a young mom, it was kind of like the rug was pulled out from underneath me. And then I also want to mention that I was probably only like maybe 4 or 5 weeks away from delivering my second born child, who is Max, who is now 28. Morgan is getting ready to be 30, and Max is 28 now. And they're both in the company. Morgan is currently holds the title of the director of Joy. And my son Max is in finance and operations. And so, anyway, um, I decided that I should probably really turn to health because I had this young baby that was newly diagnosed, and then I had a very new infant. And so basically became a label reader because Morgan's hair was curly and I was using all these wonderful products on her hair or what I thought they were wonderful products, and only to realize once I started reading the label, I realized there was silicones, resins, plastics, synthetic fragrances, and all these things that I didn't want on her hair, I didn't want in the salon. And it started, well, so then I started purchasing products at the health food store. And when I brought those products home, they did not perform like the products that I was used to in the salon. I just couldn't find anything that had the same performance that I was looking for. So it started a conversation between Greg and I, and he is very much a Sagittarius and kind of took the spark and the flame and just carried it on and researched and developed. And that took quite a while. I mean, it was a big learning curve and a big education in many, many ways. And that's basically when Innersense was born. And another aspect of Innersense that I like to talk about was part of me being Morgan's mother was I realized I was going to be a caregiver the rest of my life. And that was a pretty scary thought. But what I also realized at the time was I had already been caregiving, standing behind the chair and caring for my guests that would come in and sit in my chair. And so when the idea of Innersense came around, I also thought that I wanted to be a company that cared for stylists or cared for consumers or cared for anybody that was going to interact with the bottles and the packaging. And not only was it going to be the cleanest of cleanest ingredients, but it was going to be a company that was based on purpose and care for the environment and care for the community. And so that's what we've created.
I know, and it's been a long, long journey, and I've lived
20
this.
years this
How,
year.
how long?
So 20 years this year. So we're 20
20.
years
Wow.
old, and Greg and I have been married for 30 years.
Wow.
So,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah.
Amazing. And you know what? I want to make sure everyone understands. And you know what? I have a crystal hanging in the window. So it's like
Oh,
putting
I see the rainbow. That's so
right
pretty.
across my
Yeah.
face.
Yeah,
I
it's
know,
really pretty.
activating my third eye. But what is Willie? And I'm wondering if we can even, I mean, I don't know, Morgan is probably not up for like just saying hi.
She's no, she's napping right now, unfortunately. She's kind of a little bit under the weather.
I
We had a
know,
big
I know.
weekend this past weekend and big convention that we were at. And I think we were just all like a little tired. She burnt herself out. So she's normally a very sparkly little
Oh my God,
sprite.
she's
But
like,
yeah.
yeah, a really bright light. And so she's the CEO of Joy,
No, the director of
the
Joy is
director
her.
of
She's a
Joy. And so
director.
she
Yeah.
goes to work every day. She has Williams syndrome. Now I define it as the artsy fartsy version of Down syndrome. If you want to, I don't know if that's politically correct or whatever, but anyway, do you want to describe what Williams syndrome is?
It is the microdeletion on the seventh chromosome. And so the way that affects the person is global delay. So fine motor, gross motor, cognitive delay. And when you say a syndrome, it is like not like Down syndrome, but Down syndrome is another syndrome. So all of the people with this specific syndrome have similar facial features and similar characteristics, although they manifest in many, many, many different ways. And a lot of these people have very severe heart issues because part of the deletion on the seventh chromosome is in conjunction with elastin, and elastin is what is in our skin. So oftentimes they have like aortic stenosis or different sort of cardiac issues. Oftentimes cardiologists are the ones that diagnose people with Williams syndrome. But we have been really, really fortunate that Morgan has been a very, very healthy young lady, and she doesn't really have much other than like a heart murmur, and that is monitored in a, you know, every so few many years or whatever. But she does have, I would say, gross motor and fine motor and cognitive delay for sure.
Right, but she's just pretty darn amazing, and
And
she's
she's very smart too, and very emotionally intelligent for
so
sure, and
she's
very, very quick-witted. She loves a good joke and loves to pipe in with a song or something that kind of correlates with the conversation, which can be really, really funny because you just don't know where she's going to chime in on something.
yeah. And she's your personal assistant, she's your sidekick. She's basically like like glue to you kind of
Yes, for
thing,
sure.
And like you said, the realization of I'm going to be a caregiver
Hmm.
for the rest of my life. So
Hmm.
that was probably you went through a whole journey of that. But when I look at your astrology too, when we're talking about it right now, it really makes sense because you've got that North Node in Pisces right there in your first house. So it's on the angle. So what that is, it's the Pisces Virgo axis, and that's service. There's a different ways to say that. That's the employment unemployment axis. Pisces is
Hmm.
is all about service. Virgo is all about service. And service. Pisces is service for the greater good. Virgo wants to make things functional and better working, but it's in a location in your chart that puts it on steroids.
Wow, interesting.
I know. I know. And your rising sign. So it's the portal, the soul portal that you came in on is on steroids, okay? And it's the Virgo Pisces axis, but it's on steroids on the angle where the rising sign is. And so your
Mm-hmm.
north node, the direction of your soul is Pisces, and your rising sign is Pisces. And so the rising sign is what you're rising up to. So both of them are Pisces. And that's all about service to the greater good of humanity. Now, there are always negative parts to it, victimhood, codependency. I mean, I have plenty of Pisces in my chart too, because everything has a positive and negative expression. But I can see where, it took you a while before were like, and it's still, I'm sure, very challenging. Like, that I'm here to be of service. Like things be, Pisces is about things beyond my control,
Hmm.
you know?
Right.
And so
Yeah.
that's on steroids and you're,
That relate. That
yeah.
feels very congruent with how I'm experiencing my life.
Okay, well, what do we want to say anything else about Morgan about that before we go to the podcast? I can always relate it back. I do want to look and give you a little mini three-eye atlas reading, but
I
I want
love that.
to talk about your podcast. I
Yes.
really enjoyed listening to it. How old is your podcast now?
It's not that old. I should have looked. It's a couple months old, and I think I have like 20 something episodes
Yeah,
on it.
yeah,
And I gotta say, I'm really enjoying doing it. I mean, I think it was something that I kind of loosely thought, oh, maybe one day I would do that. And then somehow it really just kind of popped into fruition. And I feel like I'm off to the races. And the funny thing is I just got off the phone a meeting with the woman that edits all my podcasts. I'd never met her before, and it was the first time I'd ever met her. And then I also met with the gentleman who has a consulting company that helps me out with the podcast. So the two of them are kind of like in the background, along with one of my employees, Lauren, who I couldn't do life without. She's so organized and just such a great, she's a bright light and just so purpose driven. And, it's fun to work with her. But anyway, these other two people, that I had, well, one I had met, one I hadn't met, but what they said was uh, oftentimes they'll work with people that are starting a podcast, but then they kind of peter out or they get pooped out or they don't have enough guests or whatever. And that is like they were commenting on how that is quite the opposite because even the woman that was that edits, she said, yeah, sometimes I get more excited about people's podcasts than they do, but like for me, I'm super excited about like gathering guests and connecting with people. And I think part of it, and I was able to reflect with Tiffany was when I meet somebody, like pretty much anybody, I get really excited about their life and I get really fascinated by how who people are and what they do and what makes them want to do what they do and specifically if it's something that I'm interested in, like say astrology or something that is wellness focused. Like I just recently interviewed Jackie Van Ruler, who does facial reflexology. And
oh,
so,
nice.
and she was a great guest. And so I get really, really excited about things that I get excited about. And then I want other people to know about it. So
Yeah.
it's like, it's just gets me really hyped up about it. And I get just proud, or not proud's not the word, just like really enthusiastic about telling other people.
Yeah, well, yeah,
So,
that's that Gemini sun, and your Mercury is in Gemini too, the networker, I'm having to pet my little kitty over here, my little
aw.
my little daughter, because she just needs attention. So if you're trying to figure out what I'm doing with my hand, but Sun in Gemini, Mercury in Gemini, remember now at today's reading, I'm not going to be talking about remember how every time I look at your astrology, I'd be like, you need to be out there talking,
Right.
and now it's so funny is now you're doing it, and it's now I have a new message for you or whatever.
Okay.
It's so funny because you at one point you were saying, yeah, 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 I know. You're just gonna tell me I need to be talking, be out there speaking and communicating,
Ex-
networking and talking. And so anyway, you are amazing with all of that. And I've been listening to all of your podcasts. The one with the flower essences, that was really good
Yes.
too.
Katie
And
Hess,
and it
Lotus
is,
Way.
yeah, and it's very inspirational. It's what, like 35 minutes.
Yeah, sometimes even shorter, 25, yeah, 35 up to 35 minutes. I try to make it succinct and interesting. And definitely something that I've been focusing on is wanting to make sure that the listeners can take away something from
Yeah.
it.
Yeah. Well, I've really enjoyed it. And so I'm going to make sure that we have the link to the podcast down here. Okay.
Thank you.
A link to, Innersense, of course. I want to make sure we got that. But it's been really powerful just to, listen and hear and all that good stuff. Let's go back to that North Node in Pisces. And this idea of how much you are, I see it. You are very much service oriented. And, knowing our mother, Norma, and you had a different relationship with her than I actually did. But she was it was really powerful because she was so much there for you when Morgan was born and,
Oh, for sure.
powerful
Hmm.
support system for you. So that was really sad when she left. But she was also very, very service oriented. Her moon was in Pisces. My south node is in Pisces. Your
Oh,
north node is in Pisces.
interesting.
I mean, that's not the whole story because there's, like Virgo also, but just off the top of my head, I know this. And so she was an amazing woman. And so you got this from her. And it's so funny, like you said, the teacher, we are like a teacher family in a sense. But you've always been super service oriented. I mean, you came in as the little kid that could run around easier with all of us more adult kids and telling you what to do, and you'd be, doing things for us or whatever, I'm imagining. But what kind of service brings you most joy?
Well, I mean, what comes to mind for me for sure is like the hairstylist community. It brings me a lot of joy, and I think part of my inspiration for bringing Innersense out to the world was the idea that I wanted to up level the beauty industry. I think oftentimes hairdressers are a little bit I don't want to say looked down upon, for sure not, but people don't realize the magnitude of what really
Mhm.
goes on behind the chair. And I
Yeah.
think hairdressers are like, you know, the business owner, the HR person, the office manager, the person that has to talk to people, the creative one. There's so many things that go into hairdressing that people don't even realize happens behind the chair and in a salon. And so I feel like serving the hairdresser is like a big joy for me. I just enjoy doing it because I think, and then also too, I think about the ripple effect that hairdressers have. So if I can be a company or a person that interacts with a hairdresser and really helps them understand the value that they're bringing to the people that they're serving,
Yeah.
there's just this ripple effect that happens. And I don't know, I think hairdressers are pretty magical. I think they're healers. I think
Totally.
oftentimes people, I mean, don't even get touched other than just to go in to get a haircut. So sometimes a person's hairdresser is the only time that person's getting touched.
Or listened
So,
to,
or listened to
or
for that
listened
matter,
to, yeah.
right? Yeah.
So this is interesting. So one of the things with that North Node Pisces you made me think of is empathic. So here you were behind the chair and you're in everyone's crown chakra. And
Yes, for
that's one of
sure.
the things that you actually teach your community is
Hmm.
what an important position that person behind the chair is actually in when they're dealing
Absolutely.
with someone's crown chakra. And you wouldn't put a more mystical, Pisces is mystical. I remember the days when you take them back and you do a card reading afterwards,
After, yeah,
You always
absolutely.
added these really powerful creative touches to,
Uh-huh.
being a hairdresser. The other thing I want to mention, because people don't know, I really want you to check out their products. Innersense, what now it's 60 employees?
Oh
Crazy.
yeah, over 60. Yeah,
Yeah.
probably closer to 70. And we're worldwide. I've got 3 or 4 employees in Europe as well.
Yeah, and I mean, this woman is never, she doesn't have dust on her feet. She's a 5 of diamonds, which is 5 is that Sagittarian travel kind of energy. Diamonds is shiny abundance. The queen is spades is the hard worker. She's always flying to her next spot. As a matter of fact, on the 16th, you're going to be in Australia.
Australia. I leave for Australia.
I
Yes.
know.
Uh-huh.
It's so wild to see you just zooming around.
Absolutely.
And everything that you've created. So, Innersense is literally taking over the world, but it's it's a beautiful hair care company. As a matter of fact, you can't really see with the lighting, but Joanne, when I come and visit her, okay, you want me to do your hair? And she does, but I'm her worst client because I can't sit still that long. But she's done,
That's not true.
she did highlights on my hair and it's starting to grow out a little bit, but tell them about your natural hair care, which was, like revolutionary,
Yes, so we
right?
just launched Color Purity about a year and a half ago, and it is for professionals only. So if you want to find a stylist that uses our hair color, you can check out our website and then look up the salon locator and find somebody in your area that carries Color Purity. But the thing that people don't know about it is that it was probably almost close to 5 years in the making because
Wow.
Greg, you know, went to the ends of the earth to make sure that the ingredients were clean. It's almost more about what we took out than what we put in. It's fragrance free, it's ammonia free, it's fume free. And it actually has a new technology that we've just developed that's called 2MD. And it's like a buffered action. So if you think of like buffered aspirin or something like that, to where when the product goes on your scalp, if you're prone to sensitivity, it releases much more gently and over a longer duration of time. It and so then your scalp doesn't get irritated,
Yeah, and
or
this
nor
is
do, yeah.
well, no, it's huge stuff. I mean, there's
Hmm.
hairdressers. I mean, without Innersense, and now it's more common. The organic hair care is much bigger than when you guys started, right?
Absolutely.
But I mean, beauticians would literally get sick, like autoimmune
Hmm.
stuff. There was, that was happening. You'd go into a salon and just it would smell, so your company has made a huge difference. And then with the most recent development of the hair coloring, because that is so toxic for women, and that's their
Hmm.
crown chakra, or your third eye,
Hmm.
all of that. So I think that's so awesome what you guys have done, you know?
Yeah.
So, and you're going to continue, you're just like on fire, Joanne. So it's really, I'm like, slow down. But okay, so then the next thing I want to ask you is, you talked about this a long time ago, but I do say everyone has a book inside of them, right? And I know
Absolutely.
that you at least have one, if not two. So tell us
Uh-huh.
about the books that you have inside you, because now, it's like I'm going to say, "Oh, have you been talking? Who's been?" When I look at
I
your
know now you're going to
astrology,
be pushing
I'm
on the
going to,
book.
when are you going to write? It's the same
Okay.
Gemini, Mercury, and Sun and Gemini, all that energy.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So
I get it. I
what
get it. I
books?
can do that for sure. I can do that. I mean, I think early on, I definitely had a book that I wanted to write that was called 101 Ways to Love Your Hair, which I still think could be a really cool book. And then the other book probably now would be like Always Trust Your Innersense somehow, that maybe might coincide with my podcast. But I do want to say that I do have well, it's not for sale right now, but I do use a ingredient inspiration card deck that I do hand out when I'm at shows and whatnot. And I wrote all of the messages on those cards.
Yeah, that's so
So
awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I do write, and I think writing is definitely probably one of my gifts and talents, having that three of clubs as my karma card. And um, I probably could lean in a little bit more there.
Yeah, the three of clubs is the writer card. Three is
Right.
creative, clubs is the communication, connection, all of, the mental functions, the speaking, the teaching, all of
Hmm.
that. Is that your first karma card or second karma card?
I think it's my first karma card.
Okay, so that's what you're working towards. So
Yes.
you have time. You just,
Yeah.
I'll keep bugging you about it. Okay, well, we're gonna do a three-eye atlas reading. I'm going to share the screen and we're going to look at your astrology a little bit. But
Super. That's
but one of the
exciting.
things I want to ask you before we continue is, since maybe some of the Innersense community are going to be listening to this, what is one thing, and anyone that's listening, because I'm going to share this with all of our siblings and blast it out to cousins and friends, all of that good stuff. But what's the one thing that people in the beauty industry would be surprised to learn about you?
Well, maybe what comes to mind first is that I went to San Diego City College for cosmetology school. That was pretty cool. And I quickly became fast friends with a woman there that did braiding at home. And she came to cosmetology. She was doing hair for years and years and years at home, but came to cosmetology school specifically to get her license. And I think that inspired me long term to do hair extensions. And so early on in my career, even before hair extensions were a thing, because they're everywhere now, I was doing different types of hair extension methods, braiding the hair in, sewing the hair in, doing individual, like, uh, I guess they call them like little, they're probably called like K-tip right now, is what they are called now. But
Hmm.
yeah, so there was one other thing I wanted to say about the hair extension. Oh, and that I did a lot of perm techniques and that I taught perm techniques way back when as well.
Perms. Is there such a thing as
Perming.
perms anymore?
I don't know. Maybe people get perms nowadays, but I mean, not probably not many, I would say. But I did, I taught hair cutting and I taught perming techniques. So pretty crazy, huh?
Yeah, no, I remember those days of the extension. As a matter of fact, what was the name of your salon? See, you've always been an entrepreneur.
I
You've
really
been an
have
entrepreneur from the get-go,
from
right?
the get-go. I
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. And so
Yeah.
what was what was the name of your in Walnut Creek? What was the name of your
Um,
salon?
Shine?
Shine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Uh-huh.
Remember those good old days? And
Yeah.
Greg was in the back filling up Innersense.
Bottles, yes.
Oh my God. That was great. Okay, are you ready for us to look at a little bit of your astrology?
Absolutely.
Okay, so this is going to be fun. I don't know how much I'm gonna. Let me first explain about Three Eye Atlas because some people don't know about Three Eye Atlas, right? And
Yeah.
Three Eye Atlas, and I was going to actually text you before we got on and have you think because you may think of this later. But Three Eye Atlas was discovered July 1st. So I want you to think what happened. It was significant for me when I thought back. When July 1st was when Three Eye Atlas came on the scene. And so think back if for everyone listening, was there anything specific, June 30th, July 1st, in that time period, anything specific for you happening? Because this is when Three Eye Atlas was discovered by, I don't know, by the Atlas system, which is a observatory network. This one was in Chile. And it's three eye, third interstellar object. So it's coming from outside the solar system and it's barreling through the solar system. And it's basically, it came in July 1st. It's going to, October 3rd, it already passed, but that was closest to Mars. October the 29th, up and coming. It's going to be closest to the sun. November 3rd, closest to Venus. December 19th, closest to Earth. That's going to be a big day. And then March 16th, it's going to be Jupiter and out. So just in general, imagine this lake called the solar system, a big lake, relatively calm. And this thing from another world, it comes from the galactic center, the center of the Milky Way. And it's a boat that's barreling through the solar system and it's going to leave a wake of consciousness. So that's I've just truly been kind of like jumped on the on this energy of being the messenger for it. And so it's been an evolution for me and an evolution of awakening around astrology because it's turned me on to 13 sign astrology and constellation astrology. And that's a long other story. But I'm looking at, like, where is it lighting up people's charts? And I'm thinking that it's going to come and it's going to go, and hopefully it will have left a positive effect that we'll talk about it, in the future. But this is the imprint that it's leaving for you, Joanne. So I'm going to just kind of share it. And so
It's
this is,
funny what you talk, just not to interrupt, but
yeah.
I just looked back on my calendar at where I was at in July when it came into the solar system, and I was down in La Quinta, down in Palm Springs, and I just remember that specific trip being just so phenomenal. I mean, I always love going down to Palm Springs, but I just like it makes me smile to think back to that. That's where I was at when it
Yeah, what
first
made
came
it, but
into.
what was the word, what would you say is the word that made it so phenomenal?
I don't know. I think that there was just like a peaceful joy about being down in the desert. Like, and even though it was really, really hot there, I just loved, like, it felt relaxing and peaceful and joyful.
So it was just one of the cherry on the top trips for you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly.
Awesome. Well, good. That's a good omen because this is look at so this is your chart, Joanne, and you don't need to know astrology completely. I'm going to try to make it as simple as possible. But basically, what's interesting is that this three-eye atlas is coming in on what's called the ecliptic, which is
Can
the
you make it any bigger? I'm sorry.
I'm not sure. Let me see. Oh, there we go. But
Yeah,
now you disappear. Can you see it?
that's okay. I can still see it.
Okay, awesome. And so basically, this three-eye atlas is coming in and it's coming in on the ecliptic, which is the orbital plane that all the planets orbit around our solar system, around the sun. But what's interesting, so it's on the ecliptic, which normally comets come in and barrel through the sun somehow. I'm not a scientist, I'm not an astronomer, but it has very much different anomalous things, and one of which it's on the ecliptic, but it's going the opposite direction of the planets. The planets are going counterclockwise and it's going clockwise. So if you can see my mouse here, the planets are going this direction. And this is
Hmm.
Western astrology, evolutionary astrology, tropical astrology, okay? And Three-Eye Atlas came in here and it's making its journey all the way the opposite direction all the way to here. Okay, you can see that, Joanne?
Wow. Yeah.
Okay. So, but the question is for all listeners is like, where is it starting in your chart? What is it hitting as far as lighting up your chart? And then where is it going to finish? And so this is July. We're in October right now. This is November. And then it's going to finish its journey in March 16th when it moves out through Jupiter. Now, there's so much that I can talk about here, but one of the first things I'm going to talk about, Joanne, is where it started. It came from they say it came from the galactic center. And the galactic center is 27 degrees, 27, 28 degrees Sagittarius. So we look at where is 27, 28 degrees Sagittarius on your chart and look at it's right here at your MC at the very top of your chart, a very prominent position. And the ruler of Sagittarius is Jupiter. So, I mean, for it to come, it's in a very exalted location in your chart, you know? And what is
Interesting.
Sagittarius about? What's Jupiter about? You know, Jupiter is the good luck charm. Jupiter magnifies things. Jupiter is the benevolent. Now, the downside of Jupiter, it can, magnify things out of control, right? But
Mm.
really, Jupiter is always searching for truth and meaning and yeah, the deeper wisdom. And so, Three-Eye Atlas came into your chart at the very top at a very prominent location in your chart, really kind of like I would just say highlighting that, this is your career, this is expanding your horizons and travel. So career and travel, and that's exactly what you're doing. But this is, it's the search for truth and meaning. And so just to have it
Mm.
there at the top of your chart is really powerful. And then it's going to start journeying through in October 3rd, and then again October the 29th. And that's why this is such a powerful month, is that then it went from there, and the first thing that it came close to was Mars. Okay. And so 7 degrees Scorpio, Mars. So we look, oh, where is 7 degrees Scorpio in your chart, right? And it's basically about right about there. Okay. But interestingly enough, we look at do you have any 7 degrees in your chart? Well, you have a 6 degree, and you have a 6 degree Mars, and you have a 6 degree Chiron. And we can even push it because this is all like kind of experimental, because this is not like astrology, this is like astronomy and astrology, but I'm using this Three-Eye Atlas as an astrological imprint. We don't know what orb to use. I hope I'm not getting it too complex, but like six, we could include this marker. We'll talk about this one and this one. But basically, This is where it is, and it's just semi-sextile to your Mars and Sagittarius. So it's lighting up your Mars and Sagittarius.
Mhm.
It's lighting up on on October the 3rd and again October the 29th, because it's going to be close to Mars, or it was at 7 degrees Scorpio, and then it's going to be closest to the sun at 6 degrees Scorpio. Interesting, right? So we look at
Mhm.
6 and 7 degrees in your chart and where it's going to have some kind of a light up or association. And we see that's your Mars in Sagittarius, that's your Chiron in Aries, and potentially also your Saturn and Venus at 5 degrees in Taurus. And so this is really, let's just say, what does Three Eye Atlas want you to do? It wants you to travel more, I guess.
Uh-oh.
Even though I keep on saying slow it down, but not necessarily, but it really means learning,
Mm.
expanding, and you always hear me say that with Morgan, expanding
Mhm.
your horizons, uh,
Mhm.
gaining deeper understanding and seeking more meaning and truth in your life. Okay.
Mm.
And
Mhm.
it's in positive relation to the actual Mars, in Scorpio right there. Okay. But and it's also in positive relation to your Chiron in Aries. And you and I have talked about this before. Chiron in Aries, if you've ever met an Aries person, very creative, very spontaneous, very passionate, very much an initiator, very much like the Aries is the entrepreneur. And
Mm.
Aries in Chiron is you are the crippled master or the
Oh.
wounded healer. So this is where you have your magnificence, but also your wound. Okay. And it's
Mhm.
in your first house. It's in the house of you, right?
Mm.
And so this is you. I would say this is, what Three Eye Atlas is wanting you to do is do a deeper search and discovery of who you are and the power and the brilliance of who
Mm.
you are.
Mhm.
Chiron in Aries is feeling like you don't have the right to exist, and it's in the house of Aries. So
Mm.
that magnifies it as well. So, I would say it's leaving a mark here of deeper journey of stepping into your passion, stepping into your power.
Mhm.
And then that's going to be for October 3rd and October the 29th. So for all of like October. Now we go to November the 3rd, where it's going to be in 26 degrees of Libra. And there's the Libra. I drew the Libra, but then we look at, well, where is 26 degrees in your chart, right? And I mean, this is exact. You've got 26 degrees Neptune and Scorpio. You've got 26 degrees on your node. Your node, remember the portal that you came in on that's on steroids, and
Mm.
26 North node, service to others. So these are different. That I colored this all blue, if you can see the blue. So these are all like these are all being lit up by that Three Eye Atlas. And they're being
Mm.
lit up in a very, let me see. This is a Libra Virgo, 30 degrees, and then that's 30 degrees. So that's like in a positive way. It's a semi-sextile. Um, it's I would say if I'm just getting an intuitive hit on it and really looking at it, that this is a generational thing, that Neptune and
Mm.
Scorpio, and that's from 1957 to 1970. So, our oldest brother, actually his is in Libra, but the year that he was born is when it just was coming in. Yeah, coming in. So he was still in Leo. And yours is the other end, it's coming out. I don't know if I'm making sense when I say that, but it's a generational thing. And
Mm.
so this is about moving beyond martyrism, basically, one of the
Mm.
aspects of it.
Mhm.
And so being of service, we were talking about this, the powerful being of service, but
Mhm.
healing the wound of martyrism. Interesting.
Mm. Love that.
Right, I know. So, it's the good old Oxygen mask, put your own oxygen mask on first before you put the other person's oxygen
Mm-hmm.
mask on, that kind of thing. And then it's going to be a while before it journeys because it's going to have to go all the way out to Jupiter before it leaves. And it's going to leave in your area of home and hearth and support. It's going to be in, and you can't really see that here. Let me see if I can move it up. It's 15 degrees Cancer,
Mm-hmm.
and it's going to exit out. So, Three Eye Atlas comes in here and going to exit out here. So it's really coming in from where you have authority, where you're out in the world, right? And it's going to end in, your home, your inner world, your support system. So it's an outer, kind of like an outer to an inner journey is
Mm.
kind of like, and part of it is right now, it's in the underworld. Three Atlas is in what is called the underworld, and
Mm.
it's because we can't see it, it's behind the sun. And so, oh my God, what is it doing? Aliens are jumping out and jumping into the sun, or who knows what it's doing. All these conspiracy theories and whatnot. Well, sometimes we have to take all of those with a grain of salt, right? There's some truth in everything.
Yes.
And so we don't know the whole story here, but I think this is all a positive thing. How can this thing come into our solar system and leave without having a higher frequency, higher awareness, higher consciousness? And so right now it's in the underworld. And so this is another message to you, Joanne, is just it's the where it is in your chart is in an underworld area. So anything that you can do to go inward, do some psychological processing, personal development during the month, especially during the month of October, would be really supportive for you. And
Okay.
and then the last thing that I want to say is I'm going to show you the difference between now, see how your chart is. Now, this is the journey it's taking, but it's these where it's highlighting, it's interacting with these guys over here as well. And we can always go deeper into reading, but I kind of am giving you the nuts and bolts of it. But just to
Mm-hmm.
show you the difference, this is my chart and it's taking a different path. My chart, it started here and it's going to come here
Interesting.
and then end there. And so, for our listeners, where is it in your chart? What planets is it touching? What story does it tell? And what does Three Eye Atlas want? What gifts is Three Eye Atlas giving you from now until March 16th, basically?
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Um, so the last thing I want to share with you is these are quadrants. This is the first quadrant, that's the second quadrant, this is the third quadrant, and that's the fourth quadrant. And this is called someone's natal chart. And it's basically the imprint of where all the planets were when you took your first breath. You're not a mistake. You had a special intention. Your soul did when you came in. And so the different quadrants where the planets occupy tells a story. And so the first quadrant is resourcing yourself. The second quadrant is, your purpose and rolling up your sleeves and really producing, basically. The third quadrant is expanding your horizons. And the fourth quadrant is giving back to giving back to the greater collective. So these are just
Mm.
words that we can describe them differently as well, but this is more like inner and outer, where I have a lot of my planets. But yours is, I mean, and you have a lot of planets here and here. So basically, if we looked at your chart just in general, you're here to resource yourself in this life so that you can expand your horizons and
Mm.
broaden your experiences,
Mm-hmm.
through relationship, actually. And
Hmm.
so, but if we look at what Three Eye Atlas is doing, starting here and going here, this is the right side of your chart. And that's all about production. That's all about
Hmm.
creating your own destiny. And we're all here kind of in charge of our own destiny in a way, but this is like a really moving forward and expanding your journey or who you are and quote unquote making it happen, so to speak.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And then of course in general very strong implication here of your soul's purpose,
Mm.
with all that Virgo, making things more functional in relationship. That's the house of relationship, and being of service to greater humanity, expanding your horizons, and really stepping into that deeper sense of who you are and healing the wound of I'm not good enough. I mean, we all have that wound, right?
Hmm.
Really understanding the passion and creativity and
Hmm.
power and resilience and survival energy that you have inside of you um, is strong, and that's what Three Eye Atlas wants you to know. So
That's good.
that's my little channeled message
That's
to
great.
you.
I love it. Thank you. That was really good. I took some notes over here.
Oh, good. That's great. That's great. And so, yeah, just for listeners, Three Atlas is going to come. It's going to go. It's kind of an observational thing, an experimental thing. What is it going to? What's the wake that it's actually going to leave us? I've been assigned the job that it's a positive thing, and looking at it from an astrological point of view, not an astronomical point of view, but I'm marrying the two. As a matter of fact, this is what's interesting, Joanne, with the light bulb that's so people are going to have light bulbs going off. Be
Mm.
open to it, you know.
Hmm.
Where is it lighting up in your chart? But one of the things where it's really lit up my light bulb is 2000 years ago. They saw astrologers and astrologers saw the writing on the wall. Astrology was going to be taken out of the university systems and not
Mm.
validated. Apparently, before the 1650s, in order to be a medical doctor, you had to have astrological knowledge. I just
Mm.
recently learned this. And
That's
so,
very
what
interesting.
I'm realizing is that, see, astronomy and astrology used to be taught in the universities side by side. And then I guess with the Gregorian calendar and the religious control systems, they kind of because see, astrology is a system of personal empowerment. So they pulled it out and separated it from astronomy. And so I see this, not to get political, but I see this as this separation consciousness, this us and them consciousness of
Mm.
Democrat, Republican.
Mm.
So if
Hmm.
I can be part of the journey of bringing astronomy and astrology together, then I could help, bring Democrats and Republicans together and heal this mess that we're in. And I feel like Three Eye Atlas is going to leave its positive mark. Let's hope. That's my hit. That's my hit. Well, I mean, I don't know what you think. What's your hit with Three Eye Atlas?
I don't think I've studied it enough to, I mean, I think I've now learned more watching you walk through my chart with it
Yeah.
and really better understand it. I don't know. I'd have to kind of ponder it a little bit. I mean, it's pretty magnificent, just all the small details that you've talked about it as far as it's interstellar and that it's going opposite direction of the
Stirring things
solar
up.
system. Yeah, it's really, I mean, that's kind of mind blowing when you think about it. I mean, what I've observed, and I'm not sure this is just in the past couple days, um, and maybe it has more so to do with the full moon. I've observed a lot of people being very, very tired and
Mm,
kind of having a lot of like more trauma and drama bubbling up in their life
totally.
or making major shifts or changes in what they're doing. So
Yeah.
that's just kind of what I've noticed. It just feels like the general consensus and vibe is a little bumpy out there.
Yeah, for sure. And then if we have a wake of higher frequency moving through the solar system, it's gonna, and then it's reacting with solar flares, and there's all this higher frequency energy that our biological being has to process. And so all of that stuff that we've kept in shadow, that we've nicely tucked away about ourselves needs to be looked at. And it's okay. I mean, this is how we heal. This is how we raise to a
Hmm.
higher frequency. But our society doesn't, wants us to, stuff our emotions and get on with life. And But my theory is better out than in so that we can have more, energy in our bodies and whatnot.
Absolutely.
But I'm looking and I want to mention too. So you already had October 3rd. We had July 1st, October 3rd. We're going to have October 29th. I don't know where you're going to be on that, but that's a power day for you as well. And then November 3rd is going to be big for you too. It's not going to hit directly on one of your planets, but it's going to light up one, two, three, four markers in your chart. And it's all about that Virgo Pisces axis of the portal that you came in on. The other thing that I want to mention too is you and I came in on the same soul portal. And
Mm-hmm.
if any of you have ever taken my nodal axis class, I'll probably do it again when we shift nodes. So I'll just say it. If you want to learn about astrology, I'll have a link for Learn Astrology down below. I'll put that in. Um, um, but we came in on the same portal, different degrees and reversed. So we
Mm-hmm.
learn from each other.
That's
And
awesome.
but what else was I going to say about that? So November 3rd, it's 26 degrees. It's really going to light up that's very powerful soul purpose axis. November 3rd.
Well, I'm going to be on October 29th. I'm going to be actually flying back from Australia back into La Quinta, back down to the desert, which is interesting.
Down to your joy spot.
Yeah, exactly. I know, right? And then where will I be on November?
November
You
3rd,
said
November
November
3rd.
3rd
Yeah.
is, I don't know yet. Oh, I think I'll still be down in La Quinta because that will be just the week after. And I think we have like a board of directors meeting down there. We'll be down
Wow.
kind of in the LA area.
Wow.
Yeah.
So such powerful stuff. And sometimes I can't even give words to what I see because it's like,
Mm,
how do I remember that and how do I explain it? But
yeah.
I just see where it's really, Three Atlas is really wanting you to really claim the amazingness of who you are and
Mm,
find truth and meaning through that,
mm,
you know?
mm,
Um, and really step into that what gives you really deeper meaning and
mm-hmm,
creative expression. And you're doing that. It's amazing.
mm-hmm.
I didn't mention December the 19th. That's when it's going to be the closest to the earth. Uh,
Okay.
so that should be a powerful day. But this is going to come
December
in December the
19th, you said.
19th. Yeah.
Okay.
And then March the 16th, it's going to be Jupiter back out. So what's interesting also, it's coming in Sagittarius, which is ruled by Jupiter, and it's leaving through Jupiter.
Oh, interesting.
I know.
Yeah.
And it's touching the Mars, the masculine, the Venus, the feminine, and the sun, our center of our solar system. So it's doing masculine, feminine, the Earth and Jupiter, and says, "Good luck, you guys. I hope you got it."
Is there telescopes that are watching this and do you know where they're at? Because I know that there's a big telescope down in the Coachella Valley, the desert area, and I wonder if that's one of the ones that anybody's tracking it there.
Yeah, no, I don't know because it's almost like I feel like I still have so much more to learn. I've learned so much astrology, but now I have to learn like astronomy so that I can bring it to,
Mm,
I mean, I'm not going to become an astronomer by any means, but I'll put a
yeah.
link to Stefan Burns.
Okay.
You'll love him. Have you watched him?
No, I haven't.
Oh my God, you'll love him. So he Pam Gregory, Pam Gregory, you
Yes.
too. So she has interviewed him, and Drew, our nephew, turned me on to Stefan Burns. He's a geophysicist,
Okay.
so he
Nice.
does videos all about it. But basically, when it got close to Mars, conveniently, the government was shut down. And so Mars has
Oh,
probes around it, and we could have gotten a better look at Three
oh,
Atlas.
got it.
Now, I'm
Mm-hmm.
sure they got a better look at Three Atlas. They're not going to not look, but
Mm-hmm.
conveniently, I guess they're not giving out the information. But
Interesting.
now it's behind the sun. So
Oh, I
and I'm going to
see.
do a video on this. This is a great time for us to do shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
It's in the shadow, basically. It's in
Mm-hmm.
the underworld. is what I'm
Mm.
thinking about. Anyway, you can see I get really excited about it. I think it's beautiful stuff for you, Joanne. I'm your cheerleader. I'm your supporter. I'm going to now keep bugging you about those books that you need to get out and
Oh no.
continue to podcast
I'm gonna
and
have to travel and write at the same
okay,
time.
but no, but I want you to also rest and sleep
Yeah.
and slow down. See, I'm more
Just a
older.
little bit.
Yeah, I'm her older sister, so
Yeah.
I don't tell her what to do. But
Right.
um, anything else that you want to say about inner sense, about your journey, about what's
Well,
most important to you right now?
I would love people to tune into my podcast. I would love to
Yes.
gain more subscribers and I would love people to write reviews um, on my podcast because I'm just having so much fun. And I almost
Yeah.
feel like I'm a new hairdresser again, where I used to walk around to with people to give them my card and say, hey, come in and get a haircut. And now I feel like this is different. I'm like, hey, come and listen to my podcast. So I
Yeah.
just like gathering people in and I'm a Gemini, sun. And so I like to think that I'm good at gathering different people together and different people from all different walks of life. So my podcast is kind of a little bit like that. You never really know what you're going to get.
Oh my God, you did one about our father, that, and you had
I
us
did.
siblings all crying. I
I
cried when I
did.
listened to it. I wonder if other people found that interesting. I just thought it was
Uh-huh.
super
Yeah.
awesome. No, there's going to be a link below, you guys, to her podcast. So make sure you listen to it. It's really
Thank
awesome.
you.
The other thing, and I always forget this, you guys, come on, subscribe, like, share,
There
comment.
you go.
Um,
All the things. Do
Oh,
it.
please, please, please. Oh my God. Are
Yeah.
we leaving anything else out? I think this is really fun having you here. I'm just so proud of you and everything that you've
Thank
done.
you.
You're such a bright light
Oh,
and
thank you.
so generous too. You're such a service-oriented, generous, hardworking person, sister. And I just, how did I ever get so lucky to bring you into my life, you know?
Oh, thank you. Likewise,
I
Anna. I love you so much.
love you too,
This was a
sister.
lot of fun.
I know. Let's do it again sometime.
Okay,
Oh,
for
look at
sure.
there's mom. There's mom right there.
Oh, yep, there she is.
You
Hi,
see, and these are
Mom.
her Hummels. I
Yeah.
know it's not.
And the little rainbow is on it right now. That's
Rainbow's on
cool.
it. There
Yeah,
we go.
very
Okay.
pretty.
All right. I love you,
Okay.
sister.
All right.
Have a great
Thanks for
day.
having me.
Mwah.
All right. Love
Bye.
you. Bye.